I did a team meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the girls gave me this card as her swap, and I really liked it. And this is using the Forever Fern, which we've actually used a few times on various videos here. It's one of those stamp sets that lends itself to quite simple designs because the images are just really beautiful. And one thing I liked about this card is that she used different colors than what you might expect with these images, and I thought it was fun and bright and happy. So I took the color challenge that I was assigned and recreated this one using that same concept. I'm quite partial to square cards, so I went for the square and then chose the colors, or the colors were chosen for me actually. We've got cinnamon cider, real red, and crumb cake. Doesn't the crumb cake look like really different sitting next to that cinnamon cider? Doesn't look very brown at all. The label has gone a little bit green, but still it does change the color quite a bit. And then we're using the Forever Fern and these beautiful images. And I wanted some different sayings that are included in this set, so I paired it up with this one called Best Year. This is one of the first ones I bought. I thought it was just really nice. It just has thank you, birthday, encouragement, congratulations, hello, hey, Christmas. For some reason, there's a couple of Father's Day ones in there, but there's no Mother's Day, and I don't know the reason for that, but in any case, we'll use it for what it's got in there. So let's start. First of all, our card base is a 5 by 10. That's kind of my standard for a square card anyway. I'll move these so I can get this more on the camera. And there's my bone folder. So I'm using crumb cake. I probably should have gotten a white mat, but we'll just carry on. And then kind of my standard sizes with the real, I did a real red mat, and so that's 4 3/4 inches squared. And then the white would be just a little bit less than that, so about 4 5/8 by 4 5/8 or squared. So let's do our stamping because that's the fun bit. I'm actually gonna do it just a teeny bit different. I learned as I was going with that. So what I decided I'll start with start in the corner first, and I'll do the cinnamon cider with this leaf stamp. So I'll turn it where I can, and I want to kind of make those bigger. Look how gorgeous that is. Hopefully you can see at least some of the detail on the video. And then I will do the crumb cake with a different image, and we'll kind of get that down here like that. And I'm going to do the real red in the berries. I thought pairing that cinnamon cider with the real red was just really nice. And then I was just going to do it kind of in a pattern. So what I'll do is just go a little bit smaller as I go out towards the edges. And I'm going to try really hard to not mix up the inks as I'm doing this. And I might just do a little touch of red there. And then, so here, I'll want the red again. And this, along this side, I'm going to still go a little bit larger because we're going to have our ribbon going through there as well. Okay, and then I just really like that red, so I'm just going to do a little red through there. Okay, so like that, it looks all right. I mean, it looks totally acceptable, but we can do even better. So in this stamp set, let's pull the stamp set out again. You've got the little splatter stamp, and those little splatter stamps are actually extremely useful. So I'm going to ink that up with the crumb cake, and I'm just going to stamp that. And I'm just going to stamp it until it runs out, about like that. And you want to get some in through there as well. And I just realized I want to add some more of that red just right in through here where there's a little bit of a gap. There, so now we've got lots of red on there, which I like. Then I think the thing that really does finish it off though is to take a sponge and the crumb cake, and so look how it looks now, and then we're just going to ink some ink through there. And you'll notice I'm starting on the paper, not onto my project. Okay, and now it looks actually quite different. Adding that inking really adds a lot. Now, I wanted to use that Tasteful Texture folder. Now I've lost it. However, that particular folder is a kind of a standard card front size, so it's not quite wide enough to do a square card. So we're going to go back to our other favorite, the Subtle. And I'm just going to quickly run that through. I'm just going to turn that over. Oh, it's dirty on the other side too. Okay, so you can do like what my friend did here, where she just stamped straight on. But once you've embossed it, you can't really do that, which is what I did when I was practicing. That was my intention, to just do quick and easy, which you totally can do that, but you just want to do it before you emboss it. So instead, you end up with a lot of scrap pieces when you are doing a square card. So I just cut a little label using our stitched rectangles and did the happy birthday for you that's from that stamp set called Best Year, and did that in the white embossing. I'm really loving the white embossing, as you probably have noticed. But in the meantime, let's put that up on our Real Red mat before we get too much further, because we need to put the ribbon on. So I'm using the new adhesive, the Stampin' Seal, and I have been practicing with it quite a bit, and I'm really enjoying it. It's quite nice, quite easy to use, very sticky. And then, if you would like, use your scissors and just rough up those edges. You could even rough up the edges of the white if you wanted. But the white isn't quite as thick as the colored paper, so you just need to be maybe a little more gentle. Then at this point, we'll put our ribbon on. And I'm using the double-stitched satin Real Red. I find that I use a lot of red ribbon between just general projects and Christmas projects and masculine projects. If you do any sort of I love you projects, red just seems to be a color that gets used quite a bit. And it's hard to color a ribbon to be a real true red. It would come out more like a pink. So having red ribbon around is a good thing to have. And then I'll just put this on the card front, if I can find my dimensionals. You know, I do get everything ready before I start, but somehow it seems to all just sort of run away. My daughter's boyfriend surprised me. He was helping me do some stuff, and he said, I know how to take the backing off dimensionals now. You just put your fingernail in the middle and they just flick up. And I said, how did you know that? And he said, I've been watching your crafting videos. And I thought, wow, you really like my daughter. I thought it was quite adorable, because I don't know any other 20-year-old young man who watches my videos. And then we're just going to take a separate piece of ribbon. I probably cut off a little bit too much here. You'd need about 10 inches-ish. And tie that into quite a tight, quite a firm knot, so the tails are going vertically. And then you'll just tie your bow however you have learned to tie a bow. And then just adjust it till it's the size you want, whether you want a bigger bow or a smaller bow, and then just trim those ends off as you wish. Okay. Then I wanted to bring that crumb cake back through, so I'm just going to add a little bit of linen thread. This is an extra, but I quite like it. I like that mix of the linen and the like the rough texture and look, kind of the natural look of the linen thread next to the satin of the red ribbon. And I kind of like too that it's on this round tube, because then the linen thread already has this little curl to it, which can be quite nice. Okay, and I want this bow to be quite a bit smaller. But I like those little tails. I'm might leave, nah, I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. But they do look cute long as well. Okay, then we will just put our little label on that. I already pre-prepared that. You just need a few dimensionals for that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then just slide that in, and you can have it a little bit poking through. Actually, I think I kind of like it like that. And then another favorite of mine are these real red rhinestones. I have a few little on a sheet. I'll just use these couple that I have, because again, it would be quite hard to actually color your rhinestones and get a true dark red, depending what you were using, I suppose. But it's just nice to have. Oops, that one just totally went under. That person will get a bonus one. I'm just going to tuck it under a little bit like that. So then inside our card, I just did some more stamping, so I'll just do that quickly. So I just grabbed the big stamp and the little leaf in the crumb cake, and then we have to add our red in there. I'll have my off the camera. There we go, and then we'll add our inking around the edges and our splatter. And then our words. We'll just do those in crumb cake on the inside. And these are also in that best year stamp set. Okay, then we will put that on another real red mat, just to bring all the colors through. And if you roughed up the front, I would go ahead and do the inside as well. Oh, got a little spot there. I'll have to put something there. Okay, then the last thing to show you is the envelope. I'll just move that one out of the way. So I did make a very cool special envelope for this one with a little red flap. So I've really gotten into envelopes lately, so I just wanted to show you the concept of this for those who are interested. You can use an envelope punch board if you have one of those. Otherwise, what I've done here is you basically just need to create a wrap that's going to fit around your card. So I just scored it at, say, 2.5. And then you know your card is 5 inches wide, but you need to give it just a little bit more room than that, just to allow for thickness and comfort sliding it through. And then we need to create this little bottom flap here. So you rotate it 90 degrees, and I just scored it at 1 inch or 7/8 of an inch. Okay, so you're going to look something like that, and then I just need to cut off these 2 rectangles. When you see these come off and me fold it up, you'll see how it all comes together. It's actually not hard. Okay, then basically those are going to fold together, and then this flap comes up, and that's it. Then that's going to create a little pocket, and then I'll use this piece of real red and then what I'll do is I'll slide that in to create just that little flap there. So there you go. So you get the idea. I'll just trim those so they're just that little bit tapered. Let's tape these together. I'll get this scoring tool out of the way. So that's the Simply Scored tool. Well worth having, or if you don't have that, you could use your trimmer and just use the scoring blade on your trimmer. And then I might use actually glue for the flap, because that gives me a little ability to wiggle it around. Whereas with tape, once it adheres, it's usually pretty much adhered down. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that just is a really just simple envelope. You could make this flap the same color and just cut your paper a little bit taller to allow for that, but I wanted that little pop of red. So then I just did some stamping across here and some stamping here in the corner. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have the Forever Fern or it's on your wish list, it gives you just another couple of little ideas of what to do with that one. And I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.